So, day 3 of our Kairos weekend. And we had already seen the miracle from the lunch yesterday. There was just so much great stuff that happened Friday. And Saturday, lunch comes around, and I hear from one of my clergy, man, if you think that story from yesterday is amazing, check this out. This is insane. I was like, oh, let me go talk to this guy. So I go talk to this guy. He's blown away. He's blown away. He's got tears all over his face. And the funny thing is, this guy was kind of highlighted to me when he came in. He was a hard case, tough guy. He even said in his introduction, he's like, really, I'm on the fence about this whole God thing. And I knew then he was in for something this weekend. And sure enough, God delivered on Saturday. So he comes up to me. So one of the last talks on Friday is about forgiveness, accepting God's forgiveness, and then we start into talking about forgiving others. So he tells me, he said, last night, all I could think about was forgiveness. He's like, I know I gotta forgive people, man. I know I've got a lot of unforgiveness. And he said, it bugged me all night. And he said, then got in here, first talk, it's technically the second talk, but the first major talk Saturday morning is about forgiveness. And we give them all rice paper, which dissolves in water for the forgiveness ceremony later on. We give them all rice paper so that they can write out people, list of names they need to forgive, people they need to forgive. And he says, I wrote 3 names that I needed to forgive on my sheet. He said the first one was my name. And then he says the next one was Wyatt. He said Wyatt was the man who raped my girlfriend, and then I murdered him, and that's why I'm in here. I was just like, whoa. And then he says, and the next one is Pete. Pete was my dad. My dad left. He says his dad left when he was 3 months old. And he would come back for a few months, then be gone for a few months. He'd come back for a few months, be gone for a few months. Finally, when he was 10 years old, his dad left and didn't come back. And finally, when he was a little older, his mom told him that his dad, they lived in New York City when he was growing up, and he was trafficking drugs in New Hampshire, and he got caught in New Hampshire, and he was in Concord prison in New Hampshire. So, one of the things we do is we have agape, what's called agape. It's basically these little posters that inmates from Kairos weekends all over the country, they draw something in the middle, then they write a little message, and then they put their names on it. And we get that from other Kairos groups for our Kairos weekend. Then we have them make it on our weekend, and then we send that out to other Kairos groups. So we had printed out 160 of these things, and we start just progressively putting some out. And again, it's the CHAs that do it. We don't actually put them on the walls. The CHAs take them and put them on the walls and everything. Well, this guy was sitting at the table of St. John, and I had designated for each of the tables where they should hang their posters on Friday. So after every major talk, they make a poster about the theme of the talk, and they can be creative as they want. and talk about the main points, illustrate the main points at the top, and then we take it. It's like a post-it note. It's big poster that has glue on the back, and they stick it to the wall. So I designated for them, for the table of St. John, where they stick their posters. So this guy wrote 2 names other than his own name on his forgiveness slip. Wyatt, the man he murdered for raping his girlfriend, and Pete, his dad, who was in Concord prison in New Hampshire. So his lunch meal ticket comes. It was paid for by Wyatt. It's not a common name, y'all. There's actually a guy who goes to church with one of the guys on our leadership team. He said he remembered selling him the ticket, or him donating the ticket. So then he goes to put up a poster. They did a poster, and they sent him, out of the 6 participants, they sent him over to the wall to hang it. And right directly over, now keep in mind, this wall is 100 feet long, and the other wall on the other side of the room is 100 feet long, and it's full of these agape posters too, out of these 160 that we collected from other Kairoses. And right over the top right corner of his poster, he all of a sudden noticed, it caught his eye, it was the state of New Hampshire drawn out with flowers and a cross on it. And he looks right under the drawing of state of New Hampshire, and it says Concord Prison, Kairos number, I think it was like 34 or something. And then right under that, it said, I always loved you, Pete. Only God. I broke down, guys. He had a message from his dad, who went to a Kairos in Concord Prison in New Hampshire, that made it to him through a Kairos poster. He was one of the men highlighted to me. I'll get to that in another video. But as you can imagine, this is quite the weekend. The 2 men he needed to forgive, he got a meal ticket for him. Right, this is the meal after he wrote the names on his forgiveness slip. The meal after he got the meal ticket, the name of Wyatt on there, and then he looks and he's got a message from his father from prison in New Hampshire on the wall right above where he's hanging a poster that he just did. Only God. This is why I do Kairos. Now on to the next.